Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. As you can tell by the title, today we are discussing Light on Me. For those who don't know, on my Patreon page, link below for your convenience, I do react to Korean dramas, and Light on Me was one of the series I've been watching. Now, I did start it later than everyone else. I think it came out in 2021. I watched it this year, so I'm late to the game, but I finally got into it. I literally just filmed my reaction to the last episode just now, so it's fresh in my mind. Everything. So today we're gonna go through each of the characters of the show, the main characters, Elise. I'm gonna get my thoughts and opinions on those characters, and then my thoughts and opinions on the show at the end. I'm trying to see what show I should replace it with because I've been going back watching series I haven't seen yet, based on requests on the patrons. And right now, I am watching Cherry Magic, but I'm also wanting to see something else that I haven't seen. I'm thinking of a show called Once Again, but no one's really requested that one, but I just kind of want to see it. But you guys let me know what show I should check out next since Light on Me is finished, for me at least. And yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so first character we're gonna start with is the teacher, Mr. How do you pronounce his name? I want to say CEO, but I'm not sure they pronounce it that way. But our teacher, I liked him. Now he was very infrequent in this series. Like I at times forgot he was part of the staff at the school because he only popped up every so often in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. In between that, we rarely saw him, but you can tell he was a good influence on his students. Some of the things that one of our characters said, it was directly from him. Our main president, he was able to confide in the teacher and kind of, he was told that it's okay not to be okay. And I think the teacher tell him that, especially during the time period of the show where our school president was going through it. He was shunned and shamed on a regular basis, and even from the student body, but also by the staff. It seemed it was good to have someone on his team in that moment, and this teacher really came through for the come through. And he's even the one who started the event. He had Taste join the student council, so I put everything in motion of what happened in the show. So he was really the MVP. And I liked at the end they all came together to celebrate his birthday. He was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so touched! Like it was just so nice," which it was. I thought they forgot about the teacher. Like I didn't realize since he wasn't present so often. I didn't think they were gonna have a moment with him, the students and everything. But it came full circle. It was so nice. Now I might have missed something, but at the end, after the whole party, after the students left, he left the student council room and like someone popped up, and I'm like, who is this person? And then the show ended, so we didn't see who that person was. Maybe it was someone he mentioned before, and I just forgot or something. But I thought they were gonna follow up on that, but they didn't. Maybe I should check out some extra content on who that was, because I was like, who's this? Who is this? And this seems juicy. I don't know. It seemed very juicy, and I'm kind of like, I kind of wish they would have shown something else with that. Next character we have is Elise. So he Miss Mothers of Chaos and and Disruption. She was really out here doing the most. Now, if you saw my reaction, you know I did not dislike her as much as everyone does. But I understand the immense dislike for her. She was out here wilding in these streets with her jealousy and pettiness. Her being jealous of Tay and her acting a fool for the president and really wanting to be with him, was up under him on the regular, being so stinking rude to people because of it. It was just wild. And she being the one who leaked the photo to out the president and Tay, to get them to drive a wedge between them for her so she could be. It was crazy. And even though I did not dislike her as much as y'all did, I was like, girl, what is this? This is not the move. And like, there were moments where it kind of seemed early on when she was trying to get ahead of the drama to be Captain Save-A-Ho, when she went to go like reprimand the students for, talking about what happened with the picture and going viral across the school. She tried to like stop them from talking about the president, but I was like, girl, you're the reason this thing started. And I understand she feels inadequate. She feels, a certain way. That's why she did it. And like even the girls thought she was pathetic at her school for her, pining over this guy who was not into her. Um, but I will say the fact that they gave her grace at the end, they were like, I can't be cool with you right now, but I will forgive you in the future. It'll be fine. Just give me time. I do think I don't know. I feel like it could be a one and done with her as far as like me forgiving her. I'd be like, no, ma'am. I'm so sorry. I'm glad you feel remorseful. Sure, good for you, but that's one and done because you was reckless with that. One and done. But at the same time, the characters in the show aren't heartless, aren't mean. So them coming back to her or allowing her back into their good graces makes sense on their part. And I did, like I said, I didn't dislike her. I like her dynamic with old boy. What's his name? Namgung. I like her dynamic with him. It looked like they were gonna get them together, but I'm glad they didn't because I was like, we don't all need to be booed up in this friend group. Let's keep it cute. Like, come on now. But at the end, I didn't mind her. She still kept her like feisty attitude, and she did seem very, 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 very remorseful. And the fact that Tay was like, "Girl, we're good. We're gonna be good," made me feel like, you know what, I'm gonna be cool with her too. If Tay's okay with her, I'm okay with her. You know what I mean? Like, and I even hate her. She ain't kill nobody, so it's fine. Okay, Namgung is next. He is a best boy for sure. I've never met a character, never met, oh my gosh, I've never seen a character quite like him. There's characters who are like him, kind of like zany, eccentric, chaotic, seemingly antagonistic. We've seen characters like that, but this character here, how he was, ooh, excuse me, was such a refreshing spot on the show. Like he was out here getting on my goddamn nerves, but also winning me over every chance he got because he was really out here for his friends through and through. Like every chance he got to be a good friend, he was a good friend. He was a good friend. And even though he was teasing them and annoying him, it was mostly for comedic sake. He was being goofy just to be goofy. And I like his like 4D zany personality like that. Like I found him entertaining. Even though I would have been annoyed by him, I also would have been like would have been sad if he wasn't around. You know what I mean? Like he was definitely best boy. He got that award, the best boy award from me at least, cuz the way he was out here helping everybody when he could, lifting people's spirits. That's the main thing he did. Like everyone who was like down themselves or feeling down, he really was that person to lift them up. Now, we don't know much about him outside of his relationship with everyone else, which is a bummer, I think. Now, I'm not saying I needed some backstory about his life or anything with his parents or anything like that, but it would have been nice. You know what I mean? Like, see why he's the way he is. Now, I do think the teacher influences him a lot. He, like I said earlier, he quoted the teacher when his advice with Tay, so that was really nice that he had a positive influence that he kind of used for his positive influencing that he does. Um, and the way he came for everyone, to everyone's aid at the end was just refreshing. And he's just so goofy and silly. I love the scene of him acting upset that they were planning on going to karaoke without him, and he was like pouting, but like he's like, I'm not giving you my full potential performance because I'm upset with you guys. You have to make it up to me. Like he was being just so zany and silly, and I just appreciate him for being that kind of character. He probably my favorite character in the show, honestly. Even though he got on my nerves, but he got on my nerves in the best way possible. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? He's the best. He's the best boy for sure. Okay, next character we have is our school president. Now he actually is my favorite character, in the show. I have, you know, when I was reacting, I was like, the narrative is being cruel to the president because at the beginning, obviously, he is the one who's helping Tay with certain things, social cues, telling him how things work, tutoring him. He was doing lots of things with Tay, and they were bonded. He opened up to Tay about certain things. I like the fact that he was telling Tay that it's so hard to be nice, and like he feels bad that him being nice makes people think that he likes them and he has to break their hearts, and that's like, and that scene where he opened up to Tay about how he wished that when his mom called, she was calling to come spend time with him, and he's sad that it wasn't the case. I like the fact that he opened up to Tay and really showed more than what other people see on the surface, because he was someone who helped everybody in the school. He helped the staff, the teachers. He helped. The fact that he was serving lunch that one time, I was like, what's going on? The fact he was there for the students for all kinds of problems, borrowing his books, tutoring, helping them with their girlfriend issues. Like, he was there helping everyone out on the regular basis. And no one's asking how he is. No one's talking to him about what he has going on. So the fact that he was very comfortable with Tay and talking to him, and like their bond with each other was so apparent, and I really loved the bond they had. Um, Now I will say it was a bummer that when Tay confessed to him and it seemed like he was gonna return the feelings, that it was like interrupted because someone else had needed his help, so he had to go tell them yes. He's a yes man to everybody, helping everybody out. And that caused them not to talk, which in turn caused them not to get together in the end, in a way, because as we saw, someone took a picture of them on the balcony being lovingly talking to each other, and they spread the rumor that they were dating. Now this is the part where I thought it was very cruel of the showrunners to do this to the president, because after the whole rumor thing, Tay gave him that bracelet. He was so happy about it, but then the boys started making fun of him, saying like he shouldn't be excited for a bracelet from a guy, and like then the rumor started spreading with the picture, and then everyone turned on him. They were snickering in the hallways. They were talking about him. They were confronting him. They're blowing up his phone. Even the teachers were like, you need to like nip this in the bud. You need to handle this. What are your parents gonna think? Your reputation is now ruined. Like, he was going through it, and when I was watching, I was like, "Oh my God, this is terrible." And I never liked these situations when there's like a love triangle, and they have a reasoning for the character to go to the other person. So in this show, they used him being outed and then him being scared to admit it, or scared to go through with his feelings with his love interest because of it, which in turn makes him seem like the bad guy for not staying up to everybody, for not claiming him, pursuing him despite what's going on. It would have been nice if he would have been like, you know what, I don't care, I'm gonna still date him, I like him, and that's that on that. But it's not as simple as that, and they showcase that. Now in the beginning, they really showcase that, but after I think that first episode, they really did. Like Shan coming through and explaining to Tay, because Tay was so upset and so hurt that he felt like he was being ignored or not. The president was avoiding him, and like it was all this, and like he was doing that, but he wasn't being malicious about it, which is what I take issue with, because I was talking to people in my discourse about what's going on as it was happening, and they were like, well, he should have stood up for him. He was indecisive. He was so perfect. He needed to be, like it was hurting my feelings that they felt this way about this character who was nothing but nice, such a kind individual, who is put in a very relatable and sad circumstance, and him being portrayed as like some type of villain because of it. Now, me saying that, everyone's like, "Oh no, I'm just saying, I'm not saying he's a bad person," even though the initial response to me, expressing my feelings, was implying that he was a terrible person, or he made a terrible choice by not talking to Tay, standing up for Tay, or whatever the case may be. I just don't like it when the show narrative wants to use that as a point to make someone seem like a bad guy all of a sudden, and have him pivot to the next guy. It just seemed very cheap, and I felt icky. I felt icky seeing that. However, Shin coming through with more context, and even though the president wasn't able to express those feelings, he knew the feelings from firsthand experience. He went through something very similar to that, and he really came through to let Tay know, and also on reverse to let the president know with some tough love, saying, "Hey, you need to talk to this boy. I'm gonna let you pursue him if you want to pursue him, but if not, I'm gonna go after him because I like him as well." And the president being like, "You know what? You go ahead." And then finally, he comes to terms with everything. And one thing I really did like, the fact that at the end he decided to be more selfish, because he did say to the teacher that he felt like he couldn't say he's not okay. He has to feel like he has to express that he's fine, present that he's fine, be there for everyone. He can't be not okay, because it was so sad to see him go home during the whole scandal. His parents weren't there. He was alone by himself, and he was alone in school. Everyone was coming at him sideways, and he was avoiding their counsel, so he wasn't really being comforted by his friends yet. It was so sad. My heart was breaking. And then we found out that old girl was the one who spread the rumor. Oh, I was like, no. But I'm so glad he finally was like, you know what? Forget y'all. I'm not addressing nothing, none of your business. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna go back to business. He went back to business, and he made things right with Tay, which I really liked. And Tay, I felt like Tay was understanding with the situation. Now they try to like make it seem like he was gonna pursue Tay again at the end. I guess he might have been trying to do that, but Tay had already made up his mind to go with Shin. So like, and he was respectful of that, especially at the end, which I like. Of course, our president's going to be respectful to the decision. He's not going to overstep his boundaries, and he is going to be a nice guy. And he's a nice guy. He's an actual nice guy. He's not a nice guy that's fake a nice guy who gets mad that you reject them. He's actually nice, and I really like his character. He's more than just that perfect guy you see that he presented himself as. He has more layers to him, and he's can be flawed. He can be sad. He can be he has different things going on with him, and I'm glad the show took the time to show that. They were cruel to him, but they also was kind to him as well, and I like that. Next up, we have is Shan. Shan, I Shan as a friend, I'm really here for. He had a cold, standoff demeanor. He was very rude a lot of the time, especially to Tay, and I understand why. Like we see his backstory, like especially that scene where like his old school middle school bullies were like in the like about to jump him. Those same guys who made fun of him, who shunned him, made him kind of turn into the person he is today. Where like they like, we know why he's the way he is. With that being said, though, sometimes he's a little bit too reckless with Tay. He's a little bit too rude, a little bit too, and I understand he has his ways, and there's a reason for his ways. But he was pissing me off a lot. Shit was pissing me off a lot. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, you are so nasty at times. Stop being this way. Now, I will say, in the show's narrative, his friendship with the boys and how he came to Tay's aid when he was sad, he came to the president's aid when he was sad, I really loved. Explain the point of view, being a stand-up guy in the situation, really, he got so many brownie points from me. I really was like, oh, this guy is a good guy, and I didn't mind whoever Tay would get with either or. I mean, I do like the president a bit more as a person because, like I said, Shin was being rude most of the time and being stank and kind of like in his ways, but he deep down, not even that deep, he was a nice guy and a very good guy. I just don't know if I buy the whole like we have it set up so that Tay is upset at the president with the situation, and then we have it's set up so when Tay gets his phone fixed, he sees all these nice messages from Shin, kind, caring messages that he was looking out for him all this time, even though he was still being like a little jerk towards him during that time. So I'm like, I'm not the biggest fan of "I loved you all along" or the biggest fan of like because he did this behind the scenes, I'm gonna forget how he was in person, in reality, during the moments. Like I'm like, he was still, and I can see how their romance was kind of like rushed at the end. I wish they had more romantic dynamics early on, like parallel to the president. Maybe Tay learned some things from Shin in different ways, which I guess that did happen. But it just seemed like they had more of an antagonistic dynamic more often than not. And I just wanted them to kind of get over that a bit sooner so I can believe that Tay could really like him for real. Because he showcased his like for the president visually a lot, but not for shit. He always aggravated with him, eye rolling, like, here he go. Why is he so rude to me? Why is he can't, he kept expressing that during his interactions. So, like, for shouldn't it be like this nice guy on the low, I just, but I do like him. Like, I don't dislike him. I just feel like them getting together was kind of weak. However, it was precious. I'm not gonna lie. Them hand holding scenes at the end when they left the school and they had the blue outfits. Precious. And then the kiss on the beach. Yo, when he kissed him and he was like ears turning red and he kissed him back, made out in front of everybody, which I was so gagged. I was gagged. They made out in front of everybody. I was like, aren't they in front of like everyone else? They just out here having this little conversation, making out, and they were like, "Oh, we're single. Could y'all calm that down a little bit? We're getting jealous. We're getting jealous, and y'all out here making us feel single." I thought it was precious. I like the ending. Like I said, I don't mind that they got together. I just feel like they could have it could have been done a little bit cleaner, in my opinion. But overall, I do like Shan. I think he's gonna do right by Tay, and they still have that kind of like teasy dynamic, which it's not my favorite dynamic to have with someone you're dating, to be teasing and being like pouty and stank. But if Tay likes it, I like it. You know what I mean? Okay, so finally we're at our main character, Tay Tay. Um, Very interesting. A lot of people who in my on my Patreon who have some form of autism seem to relate to Tay, see themselves in Tay and his behaviors, which I find interesting. Because he is a very interesting character, the way he very socially inept and kind of learning things at I think 16, social cues and whatnot. But I think it's very cool that people who are on the spectrum in some ways can relate to this character and like what seems like representation. So I think that's great. That if anyone can find a positive representation in a character that they see in themselves, they probably haven't seen before or see a lot of. So I think that's great off the bat. Tay being so direct and blunt, asking questions directly, bluntly, bringing up things, talking out loud is just, I don't know, in some ways very charming. It's kind of like, damn, you really out here bold, but at the same time, it's nice to have someone just like that, especially when they aren't trying to be malicious. They may be invasive with their questioning and kind of not picking up on social cues, but they don't mean no harm, and they are genuinely want to know things that they're asking questions for. And I like that in a character, and how he was so blunt that everyone was shook, but they were like, you know what? You're. I like this is refreshing. You ain't fake. You're not phony. And to see him kind of change from how he was before, very I want to be alone, don't talk to me, to like having a very solid friend group, caring for everyone, smiling, being goofy and silly with them. You can see his journey was very refreshing. I like his dynamic with the president so much. That was the best part for me watching the show, having him learn certain things and pick on things and doing things because of the president and him. It just felt, but also because of all the other characters, they really added something to his life and really taught him certain things. I really feel like he was part of that friend group. I can really feel the friendship. And I was really shook when he forgave old girl. And the way he did it, how he talked to her, was so kind. It was direct, it was blunt, but it was very kind. And like, the person that he was beforehand wouldn't have been as kind as he was. He'd have been straight to the point and probably dismissed her or just saw her as a bad person. But with the influence of everyone else, he's not like that anymore, and I love how he was showcased by the end. But he still was the same guy. He's grown as a person, but he's still Tay, if that makes sense. And I love that. I love when they do these to these characters. They have them go through a journey, but their personalities aren't completely different. They're updated, they're changed a little bit here and there, but they're not a whole new person. You know what I mean? I love that. Probably one of my favorites protagonist in one of these series. He was a little bland, a little serious, but it kind of worked. I feel like some characters are like kind of meek characters, but they're more in the I'm shy. Ooh, I don't want to conceal, don't feel kind of way. And he's meek, but not in that kind of. He's more direct, blunt, stoic. He's not shy. He doesn't shy away. He doesn't, you know, even when he was put in positions where he was shy, he still did the thing. Like he expressed that he was shy, uncomfortable. He still did it, and I like that. I think that's a better way to do a meek character because I'm so sick of the protagonists who are like bumbling and like scary and kind of like that's so aggravating at times. Like you have a quiet character and be the lead, but also have them with a little bit of backbone at times when it needs to have a backbone. Or you can fluctuate between the two. I remember on what's that called? Two Moons. My God, I forgot the name of the show. Two Moons. Our main lead. He was very meek and kind of like scary, but he also stood up to his bullies at any given time. One of the bullies, the main bully, was his crush, and he stood up to him, and I love that. Damn, I can't believe I forgot Two Moons, the title of the show, because I'm like, as I was scrolling, I'm looking at scenes in my head. I remember scenes and situations. I forgot the title of the show. My God. Woo. Anyways, Tay is great. I like him. He better work. I'm glad guy's happy ending. He has his first love, which is so nice. And yeah. All right, guys, we made it to the end. I really have to say I like Light on Me a lot. I really like the show. It's very lighthearted, slice of life, very compelling at times. I like the characters. I really like the characters. The cast, the actors did a good job portraying these characters. The chemistry was there. I was rooting for everybody. I even at the end where it came to the point where it just seemed like there's not much of a plot anymore. I still liked just hanging out with them. Like when they were on the beach or having a birthday party, it just seemed very nice just to hang out with them. I think they did a good job with the show. I can see why it's everyone's like favorite, one of their favorites. Now it is a bit too lighthearted. Maybe not too lighthearted. Maybe it's too long or something. I don't know if we needed 16 episodes that are 30 minutes each. I don't know if we needed all that. I don't know. I don't know, guys. However, I did enjoy my time there. Like each episode, I really enjoyed. So it wasn't like I was bored, or it wasn't like I didn't get nothing out of it. I just maybe it was a little bit too long. And I maybe because of how long it was, I don't think I compelled to rewatch it or even re-react with someone else. Like I wouldn't, even though I do like this show, would I recommend it? I guess I would recommend it, but like it's not one of those shows like, oh, you need to watch this. It'd just be one of those shows like, oh, try this one. It's more lighthearted show, slice of life, school life type of vibe, low stakes at times, and most times anyways. So I would recommend it, but I wouldn't be like, oh, you need to get on top of this. Like there's some other shows like Blooming and The Eighth Sense. I'd be like, oh, get on top of that as far as Korean dramas goes. But this one wouldn't be one of those shows, even though I do thoroughly enjoy it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this series. If you guys haven't seen my reaction, they're all on my Patreon page, linked below. Let me know what show I should watch next, and I will see you guys in the next video.